Hello and welcome to our webinar. I'm Andrew of Zebra BI, and today I'll present the latest version of Zebra BI for Excel. As you may know, we are doing a double webinar. So today is the second day that we are doing the webinars, the combination webinar. Yesterday I was talking about the Power BI, our visuals in Power BI, and today I'll present what's new in the latest version of Zebra BI for Excel. We are developing both the visuals for Power BI and the add-in for Excel, and we are determined that we'll do this in the future as well. We've got quite a few questions about Power BI versus Excel and so on. And of course, Excel is still, the ultimate tool in many ways. It supports certain user scenarios really, really well. It's much more flexible. You can mix it up, on your worksheets and so on. So yeah, that's why we are developing our Zebra BI adding further. There are lots of new features. There's lots of new stuff in our latest version. So that's what I'm going to present today. I have a simple agenda for today. I'll try to present a short overview of the latest features, of the changes from the last version, and I'll try to show as many examples as possible, practical things, how you can use those new product features in real life, dashboards, reports, presentations that you're building. And in the end, I'll show you all the resources. I'll share the download links. There will be time for Q&A. So if you've got any kind of questions while I'm presenting, do type in your questions into the questions box that you will find in your app for the webinar. And then I'll subsequently answer all of your questions in the end. In case you're wondering, we are recording the whole webinar, so the recording is going to be available after, we finish this webinar. So I guess tomorrow or day after tomorrow, the recording should be ready. All right, let's dive in. Zebra BI, the latest version. Actually, this is a typo. The latest version is 2.2. To be exact, it's 2.2.1. All right, what's new? A lot of things. First of all, we have added new waterfall charts. So at the moment, Zebra BI supports 6 different types of waterfall charts. So horizontal waterfall charts, vertical waterfall charts, bridge charts, waterfall variance charts, and other types. I'll present this in quite, some detail today, because I personally think this is the strongest new feature in the latest version. Next, we have enhanced some of the existing features, like for example, the difference highlights that you can add to charts in Zebra BI. Now you can add 2 different difference highlights. So this will help you build some examples that many of you actually wanted to do, but you couldn't with the old versions. This is now possible. We have added more outliers, so now you can have up to 5 outlier labels in the charts that are truncated. I'll explain all this with examples. There are more label density options in charts. There's the new version to move report, much as there's the little function to move a chart into a specified place in your report, presentation, or a dashboard. There's this new version, new option to move the whole report, the whole small multiples, for example, or a scaled group into exactly exact range of cells that are reserved for this part of your report. The style editor is enhanced. We have added one feature that many of you request which is in the Lollipop charts, you wanted also the markers to be colored red and green based on the relative variance. All right, this is now possible. I'll show you how to do that. There are lots of little additions, like for example, by default, ZebraBI renders all the relative variance in italic font. Now this is a setting, so you can actually choose how the relative labels, so the percentages, are rendered on charts, and you do this in a style, so you have complete control over that. Faster insert of relative variances. Okay, so if you insert a Lollipop chart, now by default, the calculation of the variances will already be the relative variance. All right, so it's just fast click and you get your Lollipop with a calculation of the relative variance. Subsequently, we have updated our report page templates. So ZebraBI comes with a set of prepared report templates that you can just simply reuse by just adding one page, second page, and so on. So we have updated the report page templates. They're already available on the website, so you can download it. Is everything okay? Yeah, sure. So I'll show you. And then there are other smaller improvements, bug fixes, extended support for regional settings, for some regional settings like Hungarian, Polish, French, and so on. There's the like the support for the non-breaking space separator and so on. So a few improvements like that. Okay, so if you're ready, let's switch to Excel and show a few ideas how you can use all of this stuff in Excel. All right. First of all, I think the most important one, the bridge chart now supports different segments. All right, let me explain. These are ZebraBI charts here at the top, okay? And this one has the most new features, the contribution analysis. So the waterfall chart, now we have 6 icons here, right? Before we had 4, now it's 6, all right? And I'll explain what's the difference and how you can use all those wonderful business reports. All right, let's start with a simple one. I'll just move those for my personal reference, all right? And we'll try to recreate those waterfall charts. All right, so a normal waterfall chart would be something like this. You have some sales in, for example, this is a budget. This would be the sales for the whole year, and these are now the differences by quarter. So this is the change by quarter. So this would be a typical waterfall chart, just a simple waterfall chart which has the opening value and then the changes and the end value, right? So this is what you had before in ZebraBI. Of course, you can add the difference highlight. So this is now the difference, right? And this is the basic one. But now, according to the IBS, so the International Business Communication Standards, this column here, because this column, this value represents the budget. So this is my budget, my plan, right? My target, and this is my actual. So this column here, according to the IBCS, should look like this. All right. So you see, it's the same icon here. So this is still the bridge chart. Only this time the first column here is rendered with this border, which represents the plan, the budget in the IBCS notation, right? So you can actually now control how different parts of the waterfall chart look like. So you can have a previous year value with some variances, then the actuals, and then the forecast and the plan and so on, and Zero BI will recognize this. How do you do this? What's the difference in the data? So first of all, here I just have a simple column with, these are my labels, that are displayed here at the bottom. This is, these are the values, and here before the labels, you put the signs for the waterfall. So this is actually the indicator for the calculation. All right. So this is old functionality of Zebra BI. If you don't have this here, you see what happens. So now this element here is treated as yet another variance, yet another contribution element here, and it's just added to the waterfall chart. So this is like how basic waterfall. If you mark this with the equal sign, once I find it on my keyboard, all right, okay, if you mark it as the result, okay, this column is now a result also on the chart. Okay, so I just had one column here, and this is the normal waterfall chart. Now, for this version, you simply need to split your values into different scenarios. All right, this is exactly how all other charts in Zebra BI work. So if you do need different segments, right, you just add multiple columns. So for example, these are the budget values. I just have one budget value, which is my opening value on my chart. So this is my whole plan for the whole year, for example, right? That's why I marked BU here for budget. Here you can do things like, for example, this would more specifically, this could be 2018 budget BU, something like that. All right, and this whole label here is now presented in this chart. If you want to make sure that this, so now this label, if the chart is, if the chart is very wide, then this label will be presented like this. If you want to make sure that this label is displayed in 2 rows, then instead of just typing here in, instead of just putting the space here, you can control Alt and Enter. So Alt, Enter means the new line character, and this is just a very little trick how you can get 2 labels in 2 rows in basically any Excel chart, and this also works with Zebra BI charts. All right, so just to make it a little bit clearer, right, so this is now 2018 budget, and this at the end, this is actually 2018 Alt Enter AC. All right. Okay, just to make it completely clear, so these are just the labels, so you can write anything here. This goes to the axis, but here these are the columns. These are the types of data, the so-called business scenarios. All right, BU, AC, and so on. All right, this is it, and you add the difference highlight, and this is a nice little chart that just explains, are we going to meet the budget or not? Okay, so this would be the basic one. Now let's forward. You can add more scenarios, as I've mentioned. So this time I have added previous year, and then the budget and the actual values. All right, let me just insert this one and explain this. Okay, so this time, you see, this is my value for 2017 here, 2017. So this is my previous year. This is my PY. And this is now my budget for this year. And these are my actuals for this year, right? So I have the previous year, I have the budget, and now between budget and the actual, I have put the variances. All right. So now I explain, what's the development between the budget and the actual here. Q1 was good, but then Q2, Q3, we went down, and then Q4 was a little bit better, but still we did not meet the budget here, although we are above the previous year here. Okay, so you see adding some so-called difference highlights, the little arrows at the right side would help. So let's do that. I'll just click. Okay, so this is one difference highlight. What I've got now here is actually the difference you see between the budget value here and the actual value here. So we are 6.3% below the plan. All right, but we do have some growth from previous year, obviously, from 2017. So how about actually calculating this and displaying this in the same chart? This is now possible. The second, with the second biggest, new feature of Zebra BI, you can now add multiple difference highlights. So just click here on the difference highlight, and you'll see here. Now I have difference 1, so this is my first difference here, but now you'll find this little plus button next to this highlight. So let's just click that. Okay, and what I've got is the second difference highlight. All right, Zebra BI is actually smart enough, so you see it was just automatically, somehow miraculously, the first difference highlight was between the actual and the budget, and the second one that I've added is between the last column and the very first column. So we have tried to make those, a little smart things. So Zebra BI tries to guess what's the best possible scenario. It does not work in 100% of cases, but in many cases, you'll just click and get the right result. Okay, now with this, now this works nicely. If those two difference highlights, the arrows, if the values do not overlap, right? If you had growth from previous year and from the budget, then those arrows would overlap and the labels would overlap. So with more difference highlights, we have added a few more features. So one of those is the it's here at the bottom. We called it offset the difference highlight. So if you just click this, it's a simple little function that will just allow for some offset the whole arrow and the label to the right. So no matter what the situation with your business is, those arrows and labels will not overlap. Okay, so this is, I would say, probably the most requested feature from maybe 1 year back or something. So I'm really happy that we have put this into Zebra BI, because the waterfall charts are actually very, very useful in business reporting. So try to use this. Okay, this is the basic idea. Now you can have variations of that. So for example, I have the previous year, the budget, and then the actual. If, for example, you can do something like that, you can change the order of the columns here. So you can also do it in this way: first the budget, then the previous year. So this is a different situation. Let me put this here. So see, I've just made a slightly different scenario. So now I have my budget, which is 300 for the end of the year. But then next I started with the 2017, and now I have my growth from the previous year, quarter by quarter. So this is now quarter over quarter growth, first quarter, second, and so on. And I've arrived at the final, full year of 2018, right? So now I have this growth from previous year and kind of the comparison to budget here. And yeah, so how did I do that? Simply, you see, I have the 2017. Let me zoom in. I have 2017 because this is a fixed column, and the end column is also fixed, but now I have just added another row for the budget, and this is also a fixed column, right? And that's why it's presented in the chart like this. Okay. To finish off this example, we'll just add the difference highlight. Again, you see this is the growth from the previous year. You have, if the defaults that do not work for you for some reason, then of course you can change everything here, you know, on this menu for the difference highlight. For example, let's change something. Let's do it the other way around. So first I'll present the difference from the budget to this element to the last element to 2018. You see this is minus 6.3. So you can just have something like that, or you know, you add another one, and this time, all right, this time the same one was added. So this time I'll just change this and I'll say, all right, from 2017 to 2018. So this is from previous year to this year. All right, so these are the, you know, most basic scenario: comparison to previous year, comparison to budget, all in one chart, and I think it's quite easy to read and to understand, and especially it focuses on what's important, you know, the variances, you know, is there a change? Is there a change? What is the proportion of that change? Is it big? Is it small? You know, is it positive? Is it negative? And that's what matters in business reporting. Okay, so this would be feature number 1. Please, while I'm doing my presentation, just if you have any kind of questions, if you like this, if you don't like this, please just type in the questions box and give us some feedback, and so we'll have a short discussion at the end. Next one, so this is still just another idea how you can use this segmented bridge charts now is, if you have the forecast, all right, then your typical situation in business would be, you know, you have your actuals from January to this month, right? So like, let's say from January to September here. So I have 9 months of my actuals, and then for the rest of year, you may have the forecast, right? The forecast for the rest of year for October, November, and December. Okay, so this is exactly, you know, what this chart tries to convey. All right, we had some sort of you know, the budget for the full year, and then, you know, we track the monthly variance. So each month, oh, below the plan, we're just going down. Okay, and here's something changed in May, June, you know, okay, we fixed this, but now we are like here. Okay, so this is now my September. This is still, so this is still my actuals here. You see, oh, my handwriting with this mouse is terrible. All right, and from here on, this is my forecast. All right, that's why that's you know, we have this hatched pattern, which again is either to encode forecast values, and exactly and at the end, this is now my end year forecast. So now I understand that, you know, we are not here yet. We are actually 7.7% below the budget at this point, but for the rest of year, we have some optimistic forecast, and actually we will end the year 10% above the budget. At least that's what our forecast says. So how do you create this chart? So you have your budget. This is your opening value, 130 millions, hopefully. And this is my budget. So you put the equal. You just type the equal sign here. So if there's no equal sign, all right, this one looks like budget. It looks strange, but yeah, make sure you have your equal sign for the opening values, equal sign for the end values. Sometimes you can have, you know, some intermediate chart. So this is the classic bridge chart, has one opening value and one closing value, and you know the contributions in between. But you can also insert, you know, you can have something like this. Will not work now because the data is not correct, but you know, you can have as many intermediate columns as you need, right? So you can start with for example, you can start with previous year and then have the variance to you can start with 2 years back, have the variances, arrive to previous year, another column, you'll put the equal sign here, and then, you know, continue with the contributions, with the variances, and then end up with your forecast. And then you can continue in the future. You can have the budget for the next year or for 2 years, you know, in the future, and so on. Just put the columns in between, and wherever you need this total, this resulting column in between, just put the equal sign. Equal means result, and that's it. All right, so this is my budget. Then I have all the variances. So you just need to put your variances in the right column, okay? So this is now my values. -2 means that in January we had minus 2 million variance to budget, okay? So if you want to draw this, if you need to draw this, you will calculate your variance here, actual minus budget for January, right? And just put it under the actual column, all right? And this is my typical situation. Just up until September, I don't have any values for, you know, the rest of the year. So that's why Zebra BI will detect this and will just take, if this value is missing, it will just take the forecast values. All right, this is an automatic behavior of Zebra BI. That's how Zebra BI calculates where is the end of this segment. Okay, so now I have +4 in September. This is still the actual, but now for the rest of year, I have here +4, +9, +10, and so on. And again, I have added 2 different highlights here. First one is from budget to September. So this is my year-to-date difference now, 7% below the plan. Oh, not good. And then this one is the difference between forecast and the budget. All right, +10, that's better. Great. Similarly, you can insert the EBIT bridge, right, which is frequently compared. So to budget or plan. So you have your EBIT, EBIT or income, or you can also have the sales, right? But this is typical EBIT bridge, right? You have your EBIT, then you have your contributions of different elements. How do they contribute to the EBIT? You know, is it growing the EBIT or shrinking your EBIT? And then at the end, so this was our plan. And then at the end, you arrive at your actuals. Again, I have the budget value first. You see, equal sign, budget value. It's in a separate column, right? If you want to present different segments, you need to put them in separate columns. That's the only thing you really need to remember. Okay, so EBIT bridge. Next, you can use this for cash flow projections. So for example, I make something like this. So for example, here you have the opening balance, which is now, this is actual cash on our, you know, on our in our bank, so in our accounts, bank accounts, right? And then everything else is the projection for the future. Like you can have weekly cash flow projections, monthly cash flow projections, and so on. So that's why you have the actual value of your opening balance here, and then you have, you know, inflows, outflows, and so on of your cash. And this is now the net cash flow effect. It's increasing in the future, which is fantastic. And that's why you see you have the hatched pattern here. So now it's easy to do this. You simply need you know, the opening value. You put it separate column or a separate row, you can transpose your rows of data also in Zebra BI. So for example, you can just put scenarios in rows, and then in columns you have the data categories that will be on the axis. It's possible, right? So just make sure that you have two series. Opening balance is actual and everything else is in the future. So everything else goes into this forecast row into the other series. All right, and this will result in this chart here. Yeah, this ability to cut the axis, it's an old feature, so no change here. Now it works also with segmented charts. So for example, if you insert this chart, this is what you would get. So this is the actual situation. Right? Now you can break the axis. I don't really recommend that. So, but just, you know, in case you're not so familiar with Zebra BI, you can do things like this. You can break the axis. Sometimes, you know, it's okay. Just don't yeah. Be really careful. You know, now this is now this chart can consume less space on your in your report, but you know, so the variances, the growth, you know, looks bigger, and you know, you can see it, but still, you know, it kind of it shows more than there is, right? If there's no variance, you know, that's a message. All right, there's right. If you cut it and then you like artificially create growth, just because your visualization is actually broken, right? With the broken axis. So make sure that you are really careful when breaking the axis in your charts. Okay, with that, we can move to the next one. So we saw the multiple difference highlights. We saw segmented waterfall charts. The next chart that you can use in some situations is this one. So this is, let me zoom in. So now this, I don't like this. All right. Again, I got the tooltip. One more try. Like this, zoom in. Okay, that's. So you see, this again is a waterfall chart here that shows monthly variances, but this time it's not a bridge chart. So the bridge chart has an opening value and an ending value and possibly some intermediate columns. Here, this is still the waterfall chart, but it's not bridge anymore because it just has the variances. All right. So the purpose of this chart is that you track the variance. This is January now. This is January. This is February. This is March. Right. So in all 3 months, we were below the plan. So when you accumulate those values, so like the year-to-date value, it's just an accumulation of monthly variances. And I find this idea that that you put your monthly variances into a waterfall chart really beautiful and so meaningful, because you know, now you understand that this was January, this was February, this is March, right? So up until March, you know, this position here. Oh, what did I do now? This position is actually the year to date. So the same chart kind of shows you the value of the month, and as you progress, you understand also, you know, the totals, the subtotals, the year to dates, right? So in March year to date, we are already here, and then all right, the trends were better, so we are going from our negative here, we made it to the positive side. So in this month, that was June, all right, in June we just crossed this, you know, negative, we crossed on the positive side. In the date we are above the budget, and so on, right? And again, you see this chart is segmented. So now you're tracking January, February. These are our actual values, and then everything else is the forecast until the end of the year, which is beautiful if you do have those values, because now you understand what is the situation year to date right now and what's going to happen until the end of the year. And so this is my last one, which is December. And all right, December, it's +10, but everything together. So the full year is now +28. You see, so you've got everything. You've got monthly variances, you've got the year-to-date flow, and you also have the, you know, the final year-to-date or year 2018. All right, here I would actually need to put 2018 or something, because it's really the full year, because it's actually actual year-to-date plus rest of year forecast. All right, and we compare this to the end year budget. This is the most beautiful, I think, comparison in typical monthly reporting. And now you just, you know, as you add values, hopefully this will work. You see, now you're just adding values from each month. You just update the report and everything will update. And this is exactly how all of our page templates are working. And so let's type in some more values. So see, you just get the actual here, the variance is calculated, and the relative variance here at the top is stated as well. All right, what I'm showing right now here, this is one of our page templates that you have in Zebra BI. And all those page templates are now, we have updated them. There are some new ones and they are a little bit updated. So we will send out, when the recording is ready, we'll also send out the new page templates. Or if you don't have them or didn't know that they exist, please let me know, because Zebra BI does come with all those page templates, and there are some nice reports that you can just add to your visuals. You don't have to create the whole report like this. You can simply choose it from you know, the list of reports. Let me find if, for example, this one is our enormous one. It was done before, so it takes a little while, because now the whole report with all the charts is just inserted in your existing reports, or you just edit another page. Okay, so this is the old one. Now there's another new feature here. So for example, some of you have did not like the fact that those markers here for the red and green variances are black, or, you know, just neutral in color, which is actually the recommendation of the IBC standard. But this time there's a new function. If you would also like to have those markers here in red and green, you will find a setting. All right, there are a few new settings. So first of all, you have to click here on more colors. All right, if you click on more colors, you'll get more options, you know, to edit your styles, more options for colors and shapes and everything that is added here. So this is the new function here. So it's called use variance colors for Lollipop markers. Sounds complicated, but it's not. So just enable this, save, and now in this style, I just did this in this style. Now you can apply this either to, you know, the chart or the current worksheet, or just the whole report, like 30 pages at once. If you change something, just click here to apply this. I'll just do it on current worksheet. All right, so you see this is the result. Now the markers are also red and green. All right, this I think will make some of you quite happy. But a small warning here, this is actually not strict IBC. with strict IBCS, it needs to be, the marker actually needs to have the neutral color. All right, but it's possible to do it here. So yeah, these are some of the most important things I would say. With the new charts now, of course, they work with small multiples. So for example, if you insert this bridge chart here, you'll get the small multiples. Let's wait a little bit. Now I have 8 products here. So I got the small multiples, I've got 8 charts here. Okay, what is new in the new version is another icon here, which is the icon for to move the whole report here. So for example, you can just move it around, or if you spoil it, make them really small or something, just click here, move, and now you click here and now you can move. Now just select the area. So I want to move the whole report with all the charts exactly into my space for my PowerPoint presentation. So it's inside. Okay. So before you had the same icon, the same option here. So you just moved one chart and you move it here, right? This was just chart move. Okay, but now you can do this on all the report, on the whole report, on small multiples. You just move all the charts into a range like this. All right, now I've spoiled this layout here. If you have small multiples and you accidentally change something like I did, and you want to move back together, arrange them, then you can again click here on the report layout and just change a little bit the layout. And yeah, now you have the layouts fixed, and now you move them back, and it's kind of the method how you can now change them. The only problem is I have also resized this chart, so this chart is now smaller than this one, so you'll need to then just manually make sure that it's exactly the same size, right? Okay, so these were the most important new features. In the style editor, there are lots of small things like in the fonts section. In the font section, there's a new setting called use italic for relative variance. Okay, so this is one setting. It's by default, it's on. So for example, if you insert, let me find some meaningful data. Do I have something? Difference highlights. I can actually show you on this one. Okay, so you see, this is now the relative variance. So this is relative variance to plan in percent. Okay, and if you look carefully, all the labels that there are percent. So this is percent variance from previous year. They are italic. They're italic, and this is done automatically by Zebra BI. So for example, if I insert this Lollipop chart, which is here, all right, you see now I have the red-green colors. Kind of, I actually like it, I must say, but all right, and it's italic. Okay, now if you don't like the italic, you simply disable this. All right, from now on, save changes. Oh yeah, and from now on, this style in Zebra dark style, this chart will. Let's do this again. It should not have italic labels. All right, some of you prefer it in this way. Of course, you can also add the percent sign in the data labels. That's possible, or add them to your title, which can be outside of the chart, or you just put the title of the chart. You would say here, like sales, and then put the percent in, and so on. Okay, so this is the italic, and this works now in all the charts. It's just a it's a general setting that will affect all the charts. So whichever percentage value, like in the Lollipop chart. Okay. Don't put month in charts with vertical axis, but just for the demonstration purposes in this chart. Now there's no italic, and the other thing is, if you noticed, this chart already is already calculated relative variances. So I just inserted my Lollipop, and if you see here, the calculation of the variance is already relative. All right, this is new. In the old version, you first needed to insert, to choose your chart, like, okay, this is the Lollipop chart. I want to calculate not the absolute variance from the plan, but the relative variance. So you needed to open the chart settings and switch the calculation to relative. In this new version, it's already relative once you insert the chart, so it's just easier. Okay, so for example, this chart, let's just do it properly. So this chart, this is plus minus chart. This one calculates the absolute variance. My report is getting really crowded. All right, so this is my absolute variance, so it's 6,000 euros or something. And this one, I should get different values because this is already a percent. Okay, 24 and so on. So 6,000 euros, which is 24.9%. All right, I do prefer italic for relative variances because it's kind of at least a little indication that this is a percentage value. Well, you see it from the chart, so but you do have this option. Or if you are creating charts for just general public and so on, then maybe it's just the safest that you put the percent sign in, just to make sure everybody understands what they are looking at. All right, and a few new things. So if you now cut the axis in certain, let me see, where's my PNL here? So for example, here I have some values that are enormous, enormous growth, like 900% growth. All right. What you would do here is you can click and you see, of course, it's 900%. This column is already cut here because it was already done in this page template. So if I click here, this limit outlier, all right, this limit is now, if I just put 0, there's no cutting of the values, but you see what happens. Everything is shrink because I have this huge, enormous growth in relative percent on some, very unimportant, not so much important category. So I'll just cut this axis and I will limit this. And here, the new thing here is if you have a lot of values. So if you do it like, let's put something like, is 50 enough? What happens? All right. Now you have a lot of outliers. So you have one outlier here. You see this one and this one and this one. All right, 1, 2, 3. Well, this one should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the fourth? Okay, so basically you get up to 5 texts, 5 labels in the outliers, right? Previously we had 3. So in many small, functions like this, we have lifted the limitations at least a little bit, if Excel permits it. Okay, that's a short presentation. I would like to stop here and ask you if you have any questions. We have a few minutes more, and I would love to get some questions, some feedback from you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Please type them into your questions box. All right. Excellent. All right, we have a consultant here who is trying to teach me how to do the webinars. All right, great, thank you for do this. Do you have some actual questions about the product? Please do it right now. Oh, thanks, Javier. Axel likes the relative variance already. Okay, great, good. This is kind of obvious. I mean, it's a small thing. What else? How do I change the scale of x-axis? Is it possible to get this Excel file template? I'll show all. I'll show all the. I will share all the Excel templates, all of them. All right, so we'll send you the link with the zip file, because there are lots of templates that are with the that are shipped with Zebra BI. If you don't have this, just please let me know. Just write to info@ZebraBI, and I'll just mail them right away to you, because they are on our website. So I'll just mail the link. Otherwise, just hold on with us for one day, and we'll ship everything. We'll just put it in the email and send the recording to you together with all the links. So all these templates that you know are here. Templates. If you're not familiar with that, it's part of the product, but it's just you just need to download all those templates, and they all work in this way. Just insert the whole report and then just type or link your data to your pivot tables or whatever you need to do to automate this. But the design is already here. There are lots of templates that you can reuse. All right. When I use multiple charts of the same type and scale them, the scaling does not work when the charts are of different size. What am I doing wrong? Thank you. That's a very good question. So the question is, for example, here, everything looks correct. Okay, I just switched to a new one. That's the same one. All right. So, for example, I'll insert my multiples. Okay, so now I have 8 products, 8 charts, and they are all properly scaled. Of course, that's very, very important. The painkillers here are 315. Let me just move them. So, for example, first one, painkillers. You see 315, and then some small one like the minerals. You see, this is 315. This is 186. So this one is smaller than this one. All right, this works. This works, of course, only if the charts are of the same size. Okay, so if you scale the charts, for example, if I break this apart, so you have this ungroup function here. Now I will break everything apart. So I have 8 separate charts. All right, they don't have any relation to one another. There's no scaling across charts. Okay, and now I will just I'll just delete those just to focus on the scaling issue here. So this one and this one, now I can scale them, and this is everything is still correct. Okay, but if you have one chart like this and one chart that is not of the same size, which means chart area is different from this one, like the value axis is different, and now you will scale them. Zebra BI will apply the scaling, but because the whole chart object is smaller than this one, this is not proper scaling, too small. So you need to make sure that all your charts have the same size. At least for now, this is still, you know, how Zebra BI works. You need to make sure manually that both charts are of the same size. So if you have resized the chart, the easiest way how to make sure that all the charts have the same size is like this. You select one chart, go to format, and here you'll find the height and the width. And in my case here, I need to make sure the height is the same. So you just go in, copy, Control C, copy, click on the other chart, Control V, just paste it in, press enter, and now both charts have exactly the same height. And now you select both of them. They're already scaled, so this is proper scaling. But now you can actually do it like this, and you can also align them, you know, to the bottom. And now this is like proper visual comparison. All right. So need to be the same size. Sorry. All right. Thank you, guys. That's great feedback. Thank you. How does work the chart in the sheet P&L, profit and loss, when, for example, the group profit is a negative value? Well, it works. The should work. So P&L. If group profit is a negative value, let's do it. Of course, all our charts, they work in all situations. If you know, if you're worried what will happen when the value crosses from positive to negative, of course Zebra BI will handle that. I know that, you know, it's not a trivial thing to do, but this is from the very start our charts supported this. So for example, roots, let's say you have a lot of taxes here. I'm not sure if this is the correct, is this actually linked or not? So if you have a lot of taxes, like 700, sorry, I'm not sure. I'll just insert the chart once again. All right, so this is basically, you see here. So now I have 700 income tax. So we just went to the other side, and of course the whole waterfall calculation, it goes into minus, and it's rendered like this. And also the scaling then works and so on. All right. What about bars, labels for last waterfall report, previous year and actual you presented to us? They have no values but numbers from 1 to 7 or something. Was it done by hand? Sorry. So Edita, thank you for the question. Let me just see. Did I? Numbers. Sorry, I'm not really sure which chart are you referring to. Was it? Can you try to elaborate on that? Just type once more, please. I'll take another question here. Is it possible to insert a third comparative scenario, for example, BU and ACFC as columns or rows and PY as triangle as possible in Power BI? Yeah, I know what you mean. At the moment, not, but we do plan to add this in one of the next versions. So yeah, at the moment there's a limitation for that. You're probably referring to the columns, right? The column chart with where there are more scenarios at one point rendered. At this moment, this has not been done, added in this version, but it's planned. Okay, how many total templates are now available? Let's check. 1, 2, 3. So 13 templates here, and then we have some widescreen templates as well. So this is it. All right, great. I think those are most of the questions. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Let me just show you if anybody needs the download link or something. Let me just show you a few things. So this is our website, zebrabi.com. If you don't have ZebraBI add-in, you can download the 30-day free trial. So just click here on the free trial and you will get the download link to your email address. And all the webinars we've done so far are recorded and stored on our webinars section. So here you go under resources, webinars, and here you will find all the resources. So even if you miss the email that we will send out with the recording, you can go back to our under webinars. You'll see this webinar will turn in one day. It will turn to a tile like this, and then I will just ship all the things that I've promised to this page. So here you will get all the templates that we have and all the examples that I've shown in this webinar, and a few more things referring to the new version of ZebraBI. Hope it will serve you creating better reports, dashboards, presentations in your Excel. Excel forever. It's going to stay for long, for many, many more years to come. So expect more webinars for Excel as well. Ciao.